Because your current trial, you're looking across, is it 7 African countries? Your current trial is about 6,000 participants across some of the poorest regions in Africa in terms of villages. So you're targeting villages that need the most assistance, essentially?
And so I think the trial you're talking about is the basic income one. And that one's actually just in Kenya. But yes, we're working in 2 very poor counties in Kenya, and then whole villages are randomly chosen to either be cash receiving or to be non-cash receiving. And then within the cash receiving, some villages are getting a basic income for 12 years, some for 2 years, and some a one-time grant to basically compare what structures of cash best support what type of priorities or plans.
I mean, it seems like, I wondered, in terms of the analysis, does it come down at the finish of this in 12 years to each individual villages as well in terms of the way that they reacted differently? Because I imagine some villages have different cultures and different structures to others.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can try to capture that in some of the survey design. You can ask about how this affects how the community is interacting with each other, how people's life plans or dreams or what they think is possible change. But also, I think some of the more qualitative work of just going and talking to people can be interesting as well and informative.
What other markers in terms of change, economic change, quality of life change, are you measuring more than just people reporting on their quality of life? What are you looking at exactly?
Yeah. And so for this study, it's, I think the debate about basic income thinks about a pretty wide range of outcomes. And so with this study, we've tried to measure a wide range of outcomes. And so it's a lot of detailed economic things around how much are people spending, how much are people earning, what are their assets. And that is self-reported, but they're also talking to a control group that's self-reported as well. And the surveyors are another nonprofit, not directly. And so that independence, I think, helps. And you can do additional tests to make sure that your self-reported data isn't getting all that screwy. And so there's kind of economic measures. There are important nutritional measures that you can look at. And some of them are inputs like food security or just how many meals with protein and things like that they're getting a day. But you can also look at outputs, look at the circumference of a child's upper arm or something like that to see, are they just skin and bones or are they developing with muscle and fat? And you can look at their height and their ratios of weight and height and things like that to sort of capture those types of things. A big thing we're curious about is gender relations. The sort of balance of the evidence on cash seems to be that if you see a change in things like intimate partner violence, either emotional or physical, that cash transfers are usually associated with decreases in violence. And people talk about that in the basic income context, that if you give people their own support, they'll have more freedom, they'll have more autonomy and power in relationships. And so we're really curious to sort of get at that in a bunch of different angles of how does this change how families are interacting with each other. And at a sort of internal level, we're curious about stress, happiness, depression, life aspirations, and sort of seeing having a little bit of extra security plays into that.